Welcome back to another Skylander video, guys, and in this video I will be giving you guys my top picks for heroic Skylanders. Just a little disclaimer is that this isn't a official tier list. This list that I'm about to give you guys is going to be based off of my personal experience with the game, what I know about the game, and if I see potential in them in the long run. So you guys can take it however you guys like, but again, if you guys agree or disagree, let me know down in the comments and let's jump right into it. First one on the list here, guys, is going to be Super Shot Stealth Elf. Skill 1 and Skill 2 is going to be a 1 mana cost only with a 2 cooldown timer. Now, what does that mean? That means you're going to be able to spam her Skill 1 and Skill 2 in all PvE content and even PvP content. Skill 1 is going to land on Defense Break with 160% attack multiplier. Skill 2 is going to be a 200% attack multiplier with a Stealth effect, in which I will get to in just a little bit here. And yes, you do cast Evasion Rate down on you, but if you're in Stealth mode already, you're never going to get attacked. The only times you're going to get attacked is if 1, they do an AoE attack, or 2, you're the last one that's alive during that stage. So that doesn't really matter. So in terms of the stealth that I was talking about, guys, if you grant stealth effect on yourself, you're going to be able to cast critical rate up and critical damage up for yourself in order for you to potentially do more damage to the boss, or the trash race, to the PvP enemy, or whatever you're doing. She's going to be a great asset to your team in terms of a damage dealer. Now, on top of that, guys, her regular passive here, guys, is if she kills an enemy, she grants the attack up by 30% on herself and decreases the mana required to use skills by 1. So this means that her skill 1 and skill 2 could potentially be a 0 cost mana skill, dishing out free damage for your team. So as you guys can see, guys, she is going to be a great asset. Whether you're using her for PvE content or PvP content, I don't think that you will regret building her. But other than that, guys, let's jump to number 2. The second one on the list, guys, is going to be Roller Brawl. The reason why is because her skill 1 is going to be able to cast an AoE diminish and poison effect on the team. I've seen countless arena teams, countless teams who are using her for Cyclops, specifically for her skill 1 alone, guys. On top of that, guys, her passive skill is going to be, she's going to be able to increase her own attack but decrease her defense if there's diminished effect on the enemy team. Now, the only way to negate that, guys, is honestly to just not build as much defense as possible. Just stack up an attack, stack up an HP, obviously crit rate and crit damage, and you're gonna see a lot of damage and not a lot of nuking potential out of Roller Brawl. And on top of that, guys, a lot of continuous effects like diminish and poison coming out of her. Now, her skill 2 here, guys, is going to be 150% attack multiplier with, again, another chance to land diminish. So a unit that can potentially cast a lot of nuking potential and cast a lot of continuous effect is definitely a Skylander that I will build in the future. But other than that, guys, let's jump right into the third one. The third one on the list, guys, is going to be Airstrike. The reason why is because Airstrike skill 1, again, is going to be able to cast diminish, and on top of that, do a 20% defense down. A lot of these Skylanders, guys, if you look, a lot of them have only a 10% defense down rate. So 20%, while being a damage healer, is going to be huge for any nuking team. Now, skill 2 here, guys, it doesn't have a lot of debuffs or buffs, but the key thing here, guys, is going to be a 1 mana cost with 4 endurance down skill. Having the ability to knock down the enemy as well, that is going to be huge for bosses, for PvE content, and of course PvP content as well. So this is a skill that may be maybe I would say unappreciated, but if you just focus on the endurance itself and the 1 mana cost, it's going to be huge for your team as long as you surround him with the proper team. Now, in terms of skill 3 here, guys, it's going to be a strip for every single time that he does attack the enemy. And on top of that, guys, he's going to be able to grant himself a random beneficial effect for 2 turns whenever you remove an effect. So that is huge. He strips, he does self up, he does self buff up, he does knockdown, he has a 1 mana cost, and he casts defense down and diminish. What more can you ask for? So Airstrike is definitely on one of the 2 build lists for the future content, or maybe even sooner than I think. But other than that, guys, let's jump to number 4. The fourth one on the list, guys, is going to be Freeze Blade. Now, Freeze Blade here is going to be a little fun toy, little experience, potential unit, and the main reason why is because he does additional damage when there's freeze on the enemy team. So skill 1 here, guys, is going to be an AoE skill that has the potential to do knockdown status. Alright, skill 2 here, guys, is going to be an AoE freeze attack with a 95% multiplier, and skill 3 here, guys, is going to be the reason why I want to build it, is because if there is a freeze effect on the enemy target, he's going to be able to dish out an AoE attack for a 35% multiplier on all units. On top of that, guys, if you build him with some decent crit rate, if he inflicts critical damage on the enemy, guys, he's going to be able to increase his own attack by 30%. So I do see potential in a Freeze Blade. You have to put Freeze Blade in a freeze team. You don't want to build a Freeze Blade and put him on a bomb team or a poison team because he won't benefit as much in terms of his, I guess you could say, his passives, right? So that is what I see in Freeze Blade. I do think he has potential, maybe not so much in PvE content, but definitely for PvP content, guys. But other than that, guys, let's jump to the last one. The last and final heroic Skylander on the list, guys, is going to be Nightfall. Now, I do know that Nightfall is an L&D unit, but he is a heroic unit, so he definitely deserves a spot. So the main reason why I want Nightfall to be on one of my team comps in the future is because of his leader passive here. He's going to be able to increase his own critical damage by 40% and increase his critical rate by 10%. If you use him as a lead skill, he's going to increase your overall critical damage of your team by 20%, whether it's PvE or PvP content. I don't see any downfall in this leader skill for any kind of team cleave or any team that is focusing on cleaving. So he's going to be a huge asset in terms of just nuking out damage and providing more nuking ability for your overall team. Now, skill 1 here, guys, is going to be a single target with a 180% multiplier that casts Diminish. Skill 2 is going to be a 56, not 56, but 150, 160-ish attack multiplier. But on top of that, guys, if the enemy has Diminish on them, it's going to increase that skill by an additional 10%. So that's going to add a little bit more damage. But the big one here, guys, is going to be the Over Diminish. So basically, Over Diminish does is that it detonates all Diminish debuffs on the enemy target. So if you surround Nightfall with a diminished team comp in the future, he could potentially be huge in terms of damage shielding, whether it's for PvE or PvP content. So definitely look out for a future video. If I ever pull a Nightfall, I will 100% build a team around him. Well, there you guys have it, guys. That is my heroic Skylander list that I'm potentially going to build in the future. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree, guys. But other than that, guys, good luck at farming, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.